We had the trade deadline, one for the ages. We already reacted to some of these trades that happened. For example, the Luka Doncic. I don't know what to describe it. That's how crazy that trade was. The Luka AD trade, we already dropped that, so you guys could check that video out as well, along with the De'Aaron Fox to the Spurs. But Wednesday night is when, or Wednesday morning, I guess you could say, is when the trades started picking up, where there were not few. There were still a lot of trades on Thursday, trade deadline day, but all the big ones ended up being announced on Wednesday night. And we'll start off with none other than Jimmy Butler, that whole fiasco that happened. Just like this whole situation with Jimmy Butler, this trade was a mess. There were so many moving pieces, so many moving parts that it ended up being a 5-team trade. And one of them happens to be your team involved, the Toronto Raptors. So I'll break the trade down right now and we'll get right into it. The Warriors received Jimmy Butler, 2 second-round picks via the Heat and cash considerations. The Heat received Andrew Wiggins, Kyle Anderson, Davion Mitchell, and a 2025 protected first-round pick from the Warriors. The Jazz received KJ Martin, Josh Richardson, 2028 second-round pick, 2031 second-round pick, cash considerations. Pistons received Lindy Waters III, Dennis Schroeder, once again moved, completing the Shaq rainbow as well. This is a 2031 second-round pick. The Raptors received PJ Tucker, who will not be reporting to the team, though, along with a second-round pick from the Heat for 2026 and cash considerations from the Heat. Now that I said all of this, it perfectly matches the whole Jimmy Butler fiasco that happened, the whole situation with the Miami Heat.
The saga's finally over. That's the biggest thing. And the two main pieces and two main focuses of this trade are the Miami Heat and the Golden State Warriors. And the Warriors getting Jimmy Butler is essentially an upgrade over Andrew Wiggins. They do the exact same things, but Jimmy Butler just does it better and has been doing it better. No offense to Andrew Wiggins, who has actually been a great, reliable...
A great warrior.
Yeah, a great warrior, essentially. And overall, when you're looking at defensively, they're both, solid perimeter. They're both solid two-way players. And offensively, I trust Jimmy to get his bucket more so than do with Wiggins. And I'll trust Jimmy's three ball more than Wiggins, even though they're both, they're both pretty iffy from deep. But overall, the fit should be there. It should be a seamless fit. In terms of, basketball play, Jimmy Butler should, be able to be Jimmy Butler and, play like Jimmy Butler. He doesn't have to change anything. The only thing is, how are these hot heads, I guess, the best way to describe it, are going to mesh together in terms of Draymond Green and Jimmy Butler?
Yeah, I mean, the memes are out where Steph Curry's just sitting in the back and watching two guys go at it. Listen, at the end of the day, that's the big question mark for Jimmy Butler, right? He also, on top of that, got a 2-year extension worth, $121 million total, which is what he was looking for, right? There were reports that he didn't want the Warriors, right? He wanted to go to a team that was going to give him the extension right away. And the Warriors ended up caving in. All the reports were there that he wanted to be a Sun. There was a deal ready where it involved Kevin Durant going back to the Warriors. He obviously said he doesn't want that. I think he would have didn't mind going to the Heat though. That being said, and the whole Bradley Beal situation there, right? And we'll talk about winners and losers at the end of this video as well. But going back to this Jimmy Butler thing, listen, you got what you wanted. You got your money. You got out of Miami. Now there's no more excuses for you. I defended you when we made that initial Miami Heat video because I feel like they did kind of do you dirty in a sense that they didn't get you the help you needed after making 2 NBA finals, conference finals, and all that jazz with the Miami Heat there. But as time went on, it got more toxic. He became toxic, and it led to 3 eventual suspensions overall, right? But going back to the fit with the Warriors, we said it in that Miami Heat video that Warriors needed to do something. And to the point, to some degree, they panicked. And we'll talk about the Heat package later in a second here. They ended up giving him that extension, which I think they weren't willing to give him before. Because at the end of the day, what was it, 60-something million? It's still a lot of money to pay someone at the end of the day. Especially for a guy, Jimmy Butler, who kind of does his own thing from time to time as well. And then on top of that, the package you gave up was a lot for a guy that just had the stranglehold on the Heat.
And speaking of that package, Andrew Wiggins was involved in the other way. And look, he's not going to carry you like how Jimmy Butler did to the NBA Finals. But Andrew Wiggins is a solid player. He will do the things that Jimmy Butler has done for you. Him defensively, he is a monster. And one of the main reasons why the Warriors won the championship a few years back when they beat the Celtics, because, he shut down Tatum.
Which is
funny. In that series.
It's funny because, that reunion, Jason Tatum was facing him once again. But Wiggins wasn't that in Minnesota, right? Like, he elevated his game. Defensive side, like he had the ability to do it. and he showed it in Golden State. And then with him, and now you bring in a guy like Davion Mitchell, who you watched this year as a Raptor fan. Davion Mitchell's a pest. Like he's like that. He kind of is like those Schroeder, Avery Bradley type defenders that picks up 94 feet right off the bat, and then like is a pest that way overall, right? And like to me, listen, yeah, you're right. This team probably ain't gonna win the championship. They might win a round, depending on how they finish off in the standings. They're still going to be a tough out. They're going to be a fun team to watch in that sense. These guys, even like Kyle Anderson, yes, there was a rumor that he was supposed to go to the Raptors, but obviously ended up staying with the Heat. And if he does get some minutes there, all three guys to some degree could fit that culture and just play.
Their defense.
And then they're out of the drama as well.
They're going to be so tough to score because when you have, if you say do beat, the perimeter and penetrate into the paint, yeah, bam, waiting for you, right? And overall, this team, top to bottom, position 1 to 5, they're so solid defensively. It will be a tough out and tough to score. The only issue is where the offense is going to come from. Tyler Hero has taken that jump of being a scorer, but like, is he a number 1 scorer? Not yet. He can be still, and we'll see how Wiggins' offensive game turns out to be, because he is coming off. He had a recent 41-point performance, so we know this guy could get hot. The only issue is, can he be clutch? And that's gonna be the biggest issue with the Heat is who's gonna step up to be that main scorer when now Jimmy Butler's not there.
Let's trade these for these two teams specifically. We're not gonna go through the other teams here, but for the Warriors side of things, like I said, they needed to go get Jimmy Butler. They did it. They have a guy now. He said himself that, hey, give Steph the ball. It'll fit him perfectly. He'll fit him well. They're just lacking size. I wish they went out and did another move to fill the center role. I don't know why the Vucevic deal didn't end up happening. But overall, for the Warriors, I would say like it's a B. At the end of the day, you needed the guy. You did, however, panic a little bit, and you gave up it's a protected first. So I'm going to give them a B. And for the Heat, I'll give them a B+, A-. At the end of the day, Jimmy Butler was probably not going to play for the rest of the year. You ended up getting this. I'll give it an A, actually. A, because you still got something out of it that for a guy that was probably not going to play for the rest of the year.
I give it a B and B+ for the Heat. It's a very close trade. It's almost, I think both teams should value from this trade. And I think it's like close proximity. The Warriors did give up a little bit of a package in terms of the situation. And B+, B range, B for the Warriors, B+ for the Heat is pretty fair for me. And I could only give them both Bs in my opinion. Let's see how it goes out from here. But let's move on to the next trade.
So Wednesday morning, another trade had happened. And honestly, I guess with all the parts, it ended up being a 4-team trade as well, according to the NBA website here. We're going to only go over like the 5 big trades that we thought that happened during Wednesday and Thursday. But some of them are obviously mixed in, like this one. So the Bucks will get Kyle Kuzma, Jericho Sims, and 2 seconds. Wizards get Chris Middleton, AJ Johnson, and a first-round pick swap. The Knicks get DeLon Wright. Spurs get Patrick Baldwin Jr. So we're not going to be reporting on stuff that got which players got waived and stuff. We're just going to go based on the package. And in this case, we're only going to be focusing on the Bucks mainly and touch on the Wizards.
The Bucks, to me, just made a lateral move, try something different scenario. That's how I viewed this trade initially. Chris Middleton was coming off the bench. He's not the same Chris Middleton. He's also getting older and older, which is obviously not good. And him being injured the last few years is obviously not helping his game. He does have the perimeter defense, that the Bucks need. But overall, when you're looking at it, this trade is just like, let's try something different and get rid of Middleton. You bring in Kuzma. And Kyle Kuzma is a guy who can get hot, who can stretch the floor. And if he is hot, he will be a bona fide bucket. Right, but the thing is, if he can get hot. And the last thing I want to say with Kuzma's fit here is that you're always gonna say yes to players that just provide spacing for Giannis, because at the end of the day, Giannis is the focal point. You already had Dame, who could provide spacing from half essentially with a limitless range. Kyle Kuzma could do it. Brook Lopez could do it. They're just gonna struggle defending the perimeter. Like you have inside, you have Brook, you have Giannis. But overall, Giannis is just your best perimeter defender, which is gonna be a tough job on him, because when it comes down to it, he's going to have to guard in the best player and, produce offensively himself.
Yeah, no, like you're right, as lateral. At the end of the day, Chris Middleton can hit the shot. We've seen it before. Like he's going to probably go up in the rafters for the Bucks anyways of what he has done. Like there was you got Kendrick Perkins saying that he was the Superman of that team and Batman of that team instead of Giannis, which was crazy, but I see I don't see the argument, but because he was performing that well. At the end of the day, the guy's been injured. He's been off the bench. Yes, his shooting splits were fine, but his points per game was down. Kyle Kuzma, yes, having a down year this year, but as a Laker fan, I saw what he can bring, which is energy, get rebounds, and sometimes he'll get you a bucket, especially if Giannis is resting or Dame is resting, and provide the spacing and hit the shot. I don't necessarily. I just feel like to your point, it's just like let's just get like an energizer type move and just see what happens there. For the Wizards side of things, I think he's staying for the most part. There's no buyout happening. He does have a player option for about $30-ish million. So if he wants to get paid, he'll probably accept it, maybe raise his value, and then either get bought out next summer, during the next season, or even this summer. Or he got his trade value up, not to the level of what Chris Paul did with the young OKC Thunder team back in the bubble, but that's what I see from here as well. They made another move and got Marcus Smart, which is, I guess, Memphis is getting off his contract.
Yeah, that's also another deal they made.
Which is funny, by the way, because NBA Central put a thing, who's stopping this duo? And it was Smart and Middleton.
Nobody's stopping that duo. Washington's stopping that duo.
Exactly.
That's the biggest thing there. But let's move on to the next couple.
Grade these ones very quickly as well.
They're useless. Great. Honestly, this trade is so useless in my opinion. I'm going to give them...
Both Bs?
Both Cs.
Okay.
They're just lateral. They're just average. They didn't do anything. No one really did anything to get better.
All right, next up, we'll go to... Do you want to go to your squad?
Yeah, these next couple trades will be personal. We'll start off with the one that happened earlier, which is Brandon Ingram going to the Toronto Raptors.
So Brandon Ingram, as a Raptor now, goes from the Pelicans, and the Pelicans get Bruce Brown, Kelly Olynyk, first-round pick, and a second-round pick. The first-round pick is from 2026 from the Pacers. I'll say my thoughts first, and then I'll let your, not fandom side, but like what you think as a Raptors side of things as well. Personally, if you were to take out the team names... This is a fleece at the end of the day. Like, Brandon Ingram's an all-star. He's one of the best scorers when he's healthy, when he's on the court. I'm not saying he's at the level of Kevin Durant, who he was once compared to, but when he gets on the basketball court and he's hot, it's very tough to stop him because he's long, lanky, and he could hit shots over anybody, right? You got rid of an expiring contract against Bruce Brown. You got rid of a guy you paid in Kelly Olynyk. So now when you bring in the team situation in, the concern is, you guys, Masai Ujiri said you are rebuilding. Now, this is not a rebuilding move. Brandon Ingram is also an injury-prone type guy he has shown in his career, and once you made this trade, he's still injured as we speak. The other side of things is the fit, is where I'm a little iffy about. I'm not saying like he does it, like, yeah, he's a UFA. Does he want to stay? Does he want to go? The good sign for you guys is that he waived his trade kicker, which means he's not taking that trade kick bonus in, right? Anthony Davis did that with the Luka trade as well. So this means he could get more space either with the buyout market or depending on what he does in the following year. In that sense, but then the fit is where it's concerning. The lineup seems good. Depends on what Darko likes to do. And I'm going to save the overall Raptor talk for a different video. But there's a lot of people that need the ball in their hand. The only person that doesn't need the ball in their hand if everyone's healthy in their starting lineup is really Jakob Poeltl, right? Yeah, that's about it. So that's my overall thoughts. It's like an intriguing move to see.
Yeah, you kind of hit the nail on the head for like most of the points. The issue isn't who we traded for or who we got. The issue is why are we trading? And like you said before, Masai Ujiri said we're rebuilding. This is definitely not a rebuilding move. If you're rebuilding, you're trying to sell pieces away. You know, like a Jakob Poeltl, who's going to be a valuable piece.
Bruce Brown,
obviously. So it just confuses me because I never ever know the direction of this team. And this, like, at the end of the day, you know, you gotta, like, this trade makes sense, you know, if you're like already in a playoff spot and try to, like, you know, improve your team. Yeah. Brandon Ingram, at the end of the day, like it or not, he makes this Raptor team better. It just that's facts. The issue is this Raptor team is only 13th place. Right, it's a different story if the Raptor team was like, you know, 7th or 8th or 6th, and this team makes them ninth. Even 9th. Like, you could propel them into a playoff spot potentially, but that's not the case because this is only going to propel them to maybe a 10 seed, right? And overall, with him being, you know, injured, it's not. I don't think it'll be a much factor in what our draft pick will be this upcoming lottery, just because he might not even play enough games just to, you know, improve or, I guess, decrease our odds, because we should win some more games. But overall, like, that's just, I just never ever understand what direction, like, you know, this franchise is ever going in. So, but I do like what we got rid of, I guess. I just don't like the why. And you said the fit, same thing, you know, him and RJ are basically similar players. He is the best scorer on our team, so he'll have the ball in clutch time or whenever, you know, we're in a drought and we need a bucket. your go-to guy will be Brandon Ingram, but I'm just looking at this deal and I'm just confused because I don't know, I don't know what to feel next year, right? Like I should be excited for next year.
But then still can be.
But then the thing is this, like you kicked off this move with getting Brandon Ingram, but you're gonna have to do some things to follow up on it.
First re-sign Brandon Ingram.
First re-sign Brandon Ingram.
I mean, listen.
But you're gonna have to do some moves to follow up. You can't just stay there because at the end of the day, if you're saying there's not a rebuild, that means you're going for it.
Yeah.
But just trading for Brandon Ingram is not gonna be enough to go for it.
So now the quickly move kind of makes. Not the quickly move, the quickly signing to that amount of money kind of is like head scratching a little bit. Now you might have to trade a guy like RJ or quickly. I don't know. It is definitely a buy low move, but we're not basketball aficionados. Like we've never played basketball competitively growing up. So maybe Darko or whoever your next coach might be, if it is a different coach. I'm not saying it will be. Whoever the coaching staff might be in the future could make this work, right? In my opinion, it's a buy low move for sure, and it could either fail or it could succeed. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I feel like what the Raptors are trying to do here, what a Jury's vision is like what Memphis Grizzlies kind of is, what the Houston Rockets are kind of doing, like the Cleveland Cavaliers, for example. Build like Scottie has potential to be a superstar, has potential to be a Jaylen Brown-esque level player at the very minimum. Right, we've seen Brandon Ingram have a year where he was kind of that. So if you're kind of banking on that, you could see this team. At the end of the day, the parity around the league is insane. That I could see that happening, but it's still risky. Is the best way I could put it.
It just it's a questioning of why. I'm like at the end of the day, I don't hate it.
Yeah,
because at the end of the pick's gonna be like a 20s pick because the Pacers are a young team and they're gonna be good. So overall,
how I rate this trade would be the Pelicans. I want to say a B because you at least got something out of it because he's a pending UFA, and you're not. The
Raptors won this trade. The Raptors won this trade. At the end of the day, if you're looking at it if you're looking at it like who got who, the Raptors should get an A.
Yeah,
right. The Raptors should get an A. But if you're looking at the whole situation,
the Raptors are for me at a C plus B minus range, depending. I guess his caveat is if he resigns, that's number one, and then see how. I don't think
the Pelicans should deserve better grade than Raptors though. Raptors won this trade.
Okay, yeah.
The Raptors get a higher grade than Pelicans. So if you think the Pelicans are a B and the Raptors are C, that's wrong. It should be the other way. The Raptors are a B minus. The Pelicans are a C minus.
I could see that because the Pelicans could have moved him in the offseason and got more value out of it as a player and maybe from a different team as well. But let's move on to the next trade, which is Lakers. Yeah, I'm just trying to find it here. Found it. A little bit of a surprise move for sure. The Lakers ended up getting Mark Williams, young man, in his third year from the Charlotte Hornets for Dalton Knecht, Cam Reddish, 2030 pick swap, 2031 or unprotected first round pick. I'll let you take the floor first.
Yeah, the package is hefty. Don't get me wrong. It is hefty. It is a risky package just because, you got rid of that coveted first round pick that's, you're kind of like holding just to make one final trade. And you were looking for a big man, right? And in terms of Mark Williams, he is, he is a great fit. Getting rid of Dalton Knecht, obviously, is not good just because, he is your rookie and your, I guess, young piece. So you could have traded for someone, even put him in a package to get someone even bigger and better, maybe. But when you're looking at Mark Williams, this guy's a beast, right? His standing vert is taller than Wemby. He has 9'9" standing vert. He's a 7'2" player. He is big. He's athletic. He will dominate both paints, offensively and defensively. He will get the boards. He is what you guys were looking for in terms of rim protection and finishing off Luka or / LeBron's lobs as well. He is a lob threat. He's also coming off a recent 38-point performance. He has a high field goal percentage. I know centers and big men usually have a high one. They should have high one. So he has a high one, which is also another good sign. And at the end of the day, he's 23. You're looking that this guy might be the running mate with Luka. I'm not saying like the second option, but like in terms of, a big man point guard pairing that, like, for the next 10 years, because he is so young, and obviously Luka is 25. So overall, this guy's a flat out beast. It's a great move by you guys. It was a hefty package. So you just got to hope that he lives up to it.
So the funny thing for me is when I saw Mark Williams, I'm like, damn, he was available, because like you said, third year.
Yeah.
The question with Mark Williams was his injuries that he faced in Charlotte, and Charlotte has his moments with injuries, or the law in general. I remember watching this guy in Duke, right? Like he was very good in that UNC game as well, that a couple of years ago, and just watching it, I didn't expect him to be available. That was the funny part. Now the 2031 pick ended up being less valuable-ish the minute we got Luka, I guess, because no one, like, the reason why that was valuable is because LeBron was 40, AD was going to be at the end of his contract, so that pick could have been like how that Nets Celtics trade happened from a couple of years ago, where we were going to be bad, and that would have been like next team's version of Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown. That kind of diminishes the value a little bit. Dalton Connect was a surprising factor, because at the end of the day, like, here's a rookie, and we're trading him for a guy that we needed. So the Charlotte Hornets side of things, they did good kind of recuperating the value, because they eventually had to pay Mark Williams anyways. But so that's my side of things on that. As for Mark Williams, this fit is not just for the future, it's also for the now, as you kind of mentioned, because before, it was when we did the Luka analysis, it was like, damn, okay, well, this is definitely for the future because we don't have a big man, and the big men we were targeting were like Steven Adams, maybe a Clint Capella. Just fillers. At the minimum, it could have been Miles Turner, at the minimum. But this shows that, like, hey, Luka, Rob Pelinka listened to Luka. I know AD's probably seething right now because he didn't listen to him to get him a center, but he got him a guy like Derek Lively or a Daniel Gafford that can, what you said, is an athletic guy that can, who was also once ACC player, defensive player of the year as well. Is he going to be the same level as Anthony Davis? It's going to be tough, because at the end of the day, Anthony Davis is one of the top 5 best defenders during his time in the NBA as is right now. So overall, that way, yeah, I mean, let's see how it goes. And shout out Nico Harrison. You did not accept it. You did not take the 2031 pick, and you did not take Dalton Connect and these guys. We were able to make this move because of it. Overall, the Lakers, I could be giving them an A on this trade. And Charlotte, I'll give them a B. Or I guess I'll give them a C+, because at the end of the day, you still need a center that's good for LaMelo Ball, Brandon Williams, and whoever else. But you get an elite stud in Dalton Connect in return.
Yeah, Charlotte got a great package. I'm going to give them a B, right? Maybe I'm leaning towards B+. Lakers got an A just because they got what they needed and wanted. So that's, that's fair in terms of your grades as well. And you guys did another good job on this incredible deadline. But we do have one more massive trade to finish off, which actually happened. Something happened on deadline day itself.
Yeah. The Cavs, shout out Cavs, man. They're going all in for this. They got DeAndre Hunter, and they're losing Karis LeVert, Georges Niang, 3 second-round picks, and 2 first-round pick swaps from that end up going to the Atlanta Hawks. Little surprised. I mean, I heard DeAndre Hunter's name in there a little bit. He was already extended, so it was kind of confusing a little bit because of what the Hawks were kind of having a up and down year, I guess you could say. They were still in the middle of the pack, but losing him, and then obviously they lost Bogdanovic, so it's kind of confusing of what their side of things is. But on the Cavaliers side of things, hey, post LeBron era, this is like your 3rd year making the playoffs, 3rd or 4th year, and you now have you filled the spot that was your weakest spot, where we said in the past maybe Brandon Ingram could have fit, right? And that's the small forward spot, because your point guard and your shooting guard are good. Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell. Your front court is elite defensively in Mobley and Jared Allen when they're all healthy. The small forward spot was still fine with whoever was playing there, right? Whether that had been Max Strus, whether that had been Dean Wade or whoever, right? DeAndre Hunter is a really good defensive player, and he's having a 39% three-point percentage this year as well. So, like, overall, I love the moves that they're doing, especially with the East kind of being somewhat... with the teams that we thought were going to be good struggling outside of the Boston Celtics, you're in the mix still, and the New York Knicks are in the mix to help. At the end of the day, we both still believe the Boston Celtics are the team to beat, because you have to beat a team 4 out of 7 times in the playoffs. You've done that this year. Like, if you're healthy, you can make that a tough series for Boston. Yeah,
when I'm looking at this, right, this is a guy, more so I even like more than the Brandon Ingram fit, just because, you already have your scorers and Mitchell and Garland at the end of the day. If Garland plays like this, the Cavs will be a massive threat. But with DeAndre Hunter, the 3-and-D guy just fits everywhere, right? And the reason why it fits here, and I like this one more, is because of his defense. Because when their interior defense is nuts with Mobley and Allen. But in the perimeter, it kind of lacks. You know,
little shaky,
Mitchell's not the best. Obviously, Garland is not that great. And DeAndre Hunter is the one that's gonna, fix that. And that's why, getting this guy more so than Brandon Ingram or, anyone else was so important, because he's gonna be the best perimeter defender on your team. And that is huge, just because that was at the end of the day, a hole. Your perimeter defense is shaky. But now that's fixed. You have 5 guys that can all, except for Jared Allen, all hit the 3 ball, right?
Even Mobley on a consistent.
I'm talking about this year, Mobley, which he has been consistent. Overall, when you look at this Cavs team, they're nuts. They're cooking. Donovan Mitchell is doing his thing. Darius Garland and that Donovan Mitchell pairing is actually finally working, like how we thought it should from the beginning. And when they make the playoffs, I expect nothing less than an Eastern Conference Finals appearance. And as long as Mobley is, hitting his 3 and stretching the floor, as long as Hunter is doing the same, and Garland's playing like, how Garland should be, and I have full faith in Donovan Mitchell, so I have 0 question marks about him as a playoff performer. This Cavs team is going to be dangerous and could really threaten the Boston Celtics.
Yeah, I mean, like, at the end of the day, the package was low as well. It wasn't like you gave something a lead up that fits it as well. So for me, it's an A+ for the Cleveland Cavaliers. They're going all in. They're trying.
Yeah.
The fans are not sitting back saying, hey, make a move. They made the move that they need to. Atlanta Hawks, we're going to get to the winners and losers right now. I'm giving them a C. They also got rid of Bogdanovic as well. They're one of my losers from here, because what's going to happen with Trae Young? Right now, you're sitting at the 9th seed. You were only 2 games back from the 6th seed, right? 4 games back from the 5th seed overall there. So you're getting rid of pieces that could help Trae Young and Jalen Johnson, I guess, because maybe you're selling a little bit because Jalen Johnson is out for the year, and I get that as well. But the message of Trae Young doesn't seem the right fit. I'm not saying Trae Young isn't a requested trade come offseason, but I wouldn't blame him. That's just me personally, how I feel about this Hawks team, because Trae Young has become like a very underrated player in the NBA because of like his team not being great. Yeah. Right? You got the first overall pick last year, and now like you got obviously the DeJounte Murray fit didn't work. Trae Young started off slow on his 3-point shooting, but he was still he got that going a little bit, and his playmaking has been insane. So I won't be surprised. I'm kind of disappointed in the Hawks for that.
Yeah, the Hawks got 1 dub. They made the greatest comeback in NBA history with that Luka Doncic trade, and now they are the winners from that 2018 pick swap for the Trae Young for Luka Doncic.
Now, if Trae Young leaves, then it's like,
then the both teams just like effed it up. But overall, like I expected Trae Young to play much better this year, because he actually looks like a banda with his daddy and his beard, which is like he looks good.
An obvious winner for me is the Lakers. The obvious loser to some degree is the Dallas Mavericks.
No, they're an obvious loser.
Another loser I have is the Phoenix Suns. Again, that whole you wanted Bradley Beal, and it's not worked out last year. It's not working out this year. You guys started off hot, then Kevin Durant got injured. Because of that kind of handcuffed you to making some trades. You made a Nick Richards trade, which helped you in the center. You got rid of Yusuf Nurkic, who was not doing much for you anyways. So at the end of the day, you're still a 9th seed team. You could still make a playoff spot at the 6th seed. However, with what OKC's looking, with the Lakers are somewhat looking now, Denver Nuggets, it's going to be hard to be in that contendership if you're not there. Like, you were rumored to trade Kevin Durant during this deadline as well.
Yeah, I'm at 1 winner and 1 loser. 1 winner is obviously the San Antonio Spurs, adding De'Aaron Fox, giving Wemby a partner in crime, giving him a solid point guard, while in the process keeping Stephon Castle. There's also this report saying that De'Aaron Fox messaged Stephon Castle saying that I want to play with you. So that's probably another reason why.
Not even just Stephon Castle. They kept a lot of their pieces.
Yeah, Vassell is also another big one. Keldon Johnson. So Wemby's entering superstardom, and you're pairing him off with an all-star guard, essentially, which is, massive for him. And then loser, who's also involved in that trade, was the Chicago Bulls, who got rid of Zach LaVine, who did not make a fuss like Jimmy Butler did, who was also playing really well, who's also playing unlike Jimmy Butler. And you got nothing in return when the Miami Heat, I know Jimmy Butler's a better player and more valuable player, got a lot in return. But the fact that the Bulls legit got a bag of chips and, air, I guess, they did nothing. And they are one of the big losers. I feel bad for Chicago Bulls fans, because just keep latching onto the Jordan and Derrick Rose days, because you're not getting anything anytime soon.
Yeah, overall, now we're hitting the buyout market as well. One signing already happened, which was Ben Simmons going to the Clippers. And I actually like that fit for them. Right? He's going with Ty Lue. Ty Lue kind of rejuvenated Kevin Porter Jr. a little bit after all his legal stuff. Kai Jones a little bit. Kevin Porter obviously got flipped at the deadline, I think, for Marshawn Beauchamp as well. So, like, the Clippers are making, like, that's what I'm saying, the Suns are a big loser because the teams ahead of you, the Warriors. Well, the Warriors are behind you, but I mean, like, the Warriors made moves. The Lakers made moves. like I said, like Memphis, I'm fine with it, but like I would have loved to see Brandon Ingram go there as well. But shout out the Clippers, like they surprised me a lot during, like I thought they were gonna be starting off very, very slow, but James Harden is turned back the clock, playing like an all-star. Your boy Norman Powell is in MIP
cooking,
discussions.
bro. He's cooking.
So that's it with that. Other names to probably keep an eye out for would be like Dennis Schroeder, maybe a Bruce Brown, because like what is he gonna do in the New Orleans at the Pelicans anyways? Let's see what happens with Chris Middleton and all these guys. So it's gonna be an interesting buyout market for a lot of these teams to upgrade from, because I feel like there's gonna be some pieces there that could help make teams into even higher level contenders or kind of make a push in the playoff time as well. But overall, that's our NBA trade deadline recap. We hope you guys enjoyed that. Make sure you comment down below what is your favorite trade that happened. Who are your biggest winners outside of the Lakers and your biggest losers outside of the Mavericks, because I know that's going to be the common answer down below. Make sure you guys hit the subscribe button and the post notification bell, because we're about 6 subscribers away from 1,000, and we would love to hit that goal as soon as possible to keep making this great content for you guys, because we ain't leaving. But we do love to see the support grow and grow, and we already appreciate the support you guys have given so far in this less than 2-year journey that we started. Make sure you guys rate, review, download the podcast as well if you guys are listening on audio platforms, and follow our socials link down below. We drop Instagram Reels and TikToks as well, and all updates will be posted there and on Twitter as well. Other than that, we'll catch you guys in the next one.
Peace.